So ever since the start of the Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINs era a few months back, I've noticed this increasing trend with a lot of the new Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes. They all suck. Now hear me out here, this isn't just me kind of rambling on about some BS. There really seems to be a like conscious effort by Konami to make a lot of these new archetypes just very underwhelming. I don't know if it's a combination of the whole link mechanics in Master Rule 4. I don't know if it's a response to Zodiacs and True Draco and what that was, or just kind of what it is, but it feels like most of these new archetypes really just are not very good. They're underwhelming, they're overly balanced, they have like very distinct limitations and like issues. And I'm gonna give some examples, right? So let's take the stuff from Code of the Duelist. Gokis. So Gokis are pretty neat, like they float, so that seems like that would be good, but they have this big problem. Their link monsters are like link 3, which means you're gonna have to take like 3 Gokis to get them out, and they can't actually get on the field to save their lives. I mean, you've basically got Suprex, which is sort of your marauding captain, and that's the extent of it. So on your first turn, you're not really able to make your link monsters, so you just are kind of left to summon these Gokis and sit there. And then, eventually maybe you can set up a Goki rematch, which will get 2 of them back, and then you'll summon another from your hand and use them all to make a Goki Great Ogre or Thunder Ogre, which both have very underwhelming effects. And that's kind of the thing with a lot of these. So I was building Altergeists, that's another example, and I'm like, okay, cool, Altergeists seem like a neat concept. They're spellcasters, they have these traps, and then you kind of start to read them and it's like, wait, these suck. Like, Altergeist, Marionetta is kind of their Stratos. It sets a trap, but the traps suck. Like, they don't actually do very much. I was thinking the traps would be these kind of really powerful control traps. You think of what, they gave to the True Draco Apocalypse, True King's Return, whatever. No, these traps don't really do a whole lot. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, your effects can't be negated, but the Altergeist monsters' effects are all kind of like mediocre and underwhelming. And then they give Marionetta this cool effect that's like Baxia, where you can, send one of your Altergeist cards to the grave and summon one from the grave. And it seems neat, but like they're so slow. There's no way to summon them from your hands. They don't get to the grave very quickly. You'll probably lost by the time you get enough in your grave to actually start using these effects. And when you are using their effects, they're just kind of underwhelming. It's always just so plain. I don't know if I'm being clear. This might be kind of like off the dome, I guess, a bit, but Altergeists just have been really underwhelming for me. I liked that it's like, oh, okay, I can combine them with Invoked, or I can combine them with Spellbooks, but should I really have to? Should the archetype suck that badly? Another one, World Chalice. Now, in their defense, World Chalice is a pretty crazy combo deck. They can, extra link you off of like 2 cards, and that's really neat. They can, spam a lot of things in Gersu Firewall and, those types of cards, but like, the deck is pretty bricky and pretty fragile. And it's based on normal monsters, which means like all the stuff in your hand that isn't used in a combo is just kind of a vanilla that's not doing anything, and you don't really have like any recycling ability. The link monsters are surprisingly quite balanced. Aurum, Ib, Ningirsu, they all have very like tame, balanced effects. And, and I can go on and on. I feel like Rockets, they have Borlo Dragon as their boss monster, but it's Link 4. How the hell do you get like a Link 4 monster out in the field with Rockets who just kind of have to be normal summon, and then they have like their one spell that can summon them from the deck, but there's only 3 of them, and then you're not getting their effects if you're having to link summon a Borlo Dragon, and then once you link summon a Borlo Dragon, then you don't have any things that you're pointing to. And that's another thing, is that they've been giving these archetypes these link monsters where it's like, yeah, it can do these things to this archetype's monsters it points to, but by the time you get enough resources to actually make that link monster on the field, you can't possibly hope to have enough monsters left for it to be pointing to. Take Goki Great Ogre, take Altergeist Prima Banshee, Borlo Dragon example, honestly Ningirsu half the time. It rarely ever actually gets to draw 3 cards. And it's just kind of like, is this just what they're like, I don't know, is this on purpose? And I know what you're probably thinking, well, Paul, not every archetype can be good, that's just how it is. And I know that's true, but generally speaking, Konami makes the bad archetypes kind of just more like commons and rares. You'd think of, digital bugs or Shino birds or, crawlers or something, I don't know. And they kind of tend to make those common. That's just the stuff that you get as throwaway cards in the packs. But These are like hollows. I mean, honestly, you know, Altergeist, like, what is it? Muleseek and Marionetter, those are both like ultra rares. And the other ones are like supers. Same goes for stuff like rockets. You know, like their spells are secret rares and stuff, but they're so underwhelming. And even World Chalice, I mean, like Nagursu's a secret, but he's not great. And it's just kind of weird because it's like, I don't know, it seems like every new archetype just is very underwhelming. There are exceptions. You know, it seems like obviously, you know, Magical Musketeers are looking like they're going to be a pretty decent meta contender, but that's kind of just the exception to the rule. Every other archetype isn't really great. Trickstars are okay, but they sort of rely on a gimmick. Crawlers, bleh. I mean, you know, all these new archetypes, they just seem like they don't do a lot. And I'm kind of wondering if Konami is doing it in an attempt to slow the game down and just make stuff kind of like slower paced where games just, you can't hope to spam your boss monsters out. If that's the case, it's okay and I understand, but I just don't like that certain archetypes actually can't utilize the things they're supposed to utilize because they're designed so not well. I go back again to the example of like Gokis. Their ogres have these cool things where it's like, yeah, stuff that it points to, it can protect it, or it can increase its attack, or it can do something like that. But by the time you have enough advantage to actually summon a Great Ogre or a Thunder Ogre, you won't have any more monsters left for it to be pointing to gain attack from or whatever. Same goes for Crawlers, same goes for Altergeists, same goes for Rockets, same goes for, you know, anything else I probably missed in this example. The point is, it just feels like archetypes now sort of suck. And it's weird because, you know, here we are in this game where we complain about archetypes being overpowered and the game being too fast. But honestly, I don't know. I kind of like my archetypes to like actually be able to accomplish a goal fairly quickly and efficiently. And it's just weird. It's just a stark contrast I've noticed that's pretty distinctively started with like Code of the Duelist. I mean, before then, it's like, you know, we had the new Pendulum Magician support, we had True Dracos, we had Zoo, and like Paleozoics and these archetypes that actually did what they did really well. Right now, though, just doesn't quite seem to be the case. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. You can tell me, but I'm curious about what you guys think. Are you like kind of satisfied with these new archetypes, or do you just find them a bit underwhelming? I mean, there's stuff I didn't even mention. FAs and Vindreds. Those are TCG exclusives though, so they tend to get like different treatment over time. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens to those. But right now they're underwhelming too. But yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think that this is a conscious decision? Do you like it or not? Let me know in the comments. I would love to. And yeah, so that's it for the video. It's kind of a rant, but I think it's something that's real. So yeah, there's a train in the background, so I should probably end this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it, follow me on social media and everywhere else, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I hate this when I'm trying to record.